The first thing that I want to make clear is how this function and this graph relate. And I want to make it very clear that this graph and this equation are two different ways of saying the same thing. This part here might seem a little confusing to you. This I have to put there as a math teacher. We'll talk more about why this is here in the coming days. But I want to point out that we're graphing a parabola, which is a U-shaped graph, but I'm only graphing it for x's that are more than or equal to -3. And if you look at this function, you can see the domain of this function is kind of like half of a u, and it goes from where x is -3 onward. And I just want to point out that like a function is a rule for turning a number into another number. And so we could figure out pretty quickly like f of, say, -3. If I look at the graph, it should be -4. That's what should happen. And if I go in this equation and I plug in -3, we get a -4, you know? If I wanted to find f of, say, -1, if I look at the graph, if x is -1, clearly y is 0. And if I go to the equation, f of -1 gives me -1 plus 3 squared minus 4. -1 plus 3 is 2 squared minus 4 gives me 0. So this equation gives me the same information that this graph gives me. And they're just two ways of saying the same function.